All right, so Pain Gaming is actually back in Dota after God knows how many years. I think it was 5 years or something like that. Heroic just bet everything on the 16-year-old Prodigy, and Spirit lost their coach after, I think, 5 years managing that team. PARIVISION officialized Puppey as their coach. This Indonesian team just won against the team who went to TI and actually qualified to their first Tier 1 LAN event, which is very, very nice for them and very nice for the region. And talking about regions, there are actually regions merging again, which is, in my opinion, very, very bad. Welcome to Win Condition Dota edition, actually.
Yeah, and besides you all that you just said, we have so many other tournaments. I mean, lands with $1 million on the line, coming up. One is already ongoing, Blast 6. And then you have DreamLeague season 28, you have PGL Wallachia season 7, and you have ESL 1 Birmingham later in March coming up, which is like the actual only full-fledged LAN with arena and live audience. But the stakes are so high in all these tournaments, even though some of them are studio LANs, and let's say maybe the stress management is better for the players at those. But yeah, it's an exciting period for Dota.
I actually feel like this round, it's anybody's game. Like, I feel like we have a lot of people that can be contenders, that are on their way rising up. There's a lot of maybe highs and lows for different teams. Like, if you look at even like Mouse, it's like ups and downs a little bit, and then you have some of these teams coming out of nowhere, all of a sudden usurping some of the other teams. I feel like it's almost going to be it could be anybody that we see at TI at this point. Like, I really feel like if somebody was trying to make their predictions now, it would all fall apart by the end, and we'd see some drastically different things than people are imagining. Or maybe I just hope.
And then we have the return of Pain Gaming, which is pretty damn huge for South America. We actually got a chance to have an exclusive interview with their coach, Vintage, and he talked to us about their challenges, the team synergies, and how he feels about how their return is going to go.
Right, so let's start with the biggest SA news. Pain is back, and we sat down with their coach, Vintage. Okay, so as Jared and I just were talking about, Pain is back on the game. For me, this is so cool, because if anyone actually knows me, Pain has been the team I cheered for like 15 years now, ever since I was a League player. This is the team from my heart, and they're actually back in Dota. So this, for me, is very, very good. And also, in my opinion...
But you need full disclosure. You are Brazilian.
Yes, I am Brazilian. That's very important.
And that actually is my question, because they picked up a Peruvian team.
Right.
So how does that factor in with things?
Okay, so let's go with context first. SA is living a very bad moment in terms of organizations, right? I mean, there's not really that many organizations putting money into SA, and Brazil is pretty much dead in terms of Dota. There are not really that many players anymore. There's like KJ playing for Heroic, that is Cavs, who is actually a Heroic coach. Analog was playing for Team Nemesis, but I don't think he's playing for them anymore. So there's actually not that many people still in professional play in Brazil. But however, Brazil has a lot of money in terms of esports organizations. Pain Gaming is huge. Loud is huge. Furia is huge. There are a lot of big teams in Brazil. W7M is huge. There are a lot of big names in Brazil that could actually sustain a good Dota team. And in my other podcast, in my Spanish podcast, La Sopa, I've been saying for months that the only, in my opinion, of course, the only thing that would actually save SA Dota is if one of those big names got back into Dota. or got into Dota. Let's say if Furia got a Dota team. That would actually save SA Dota. Why? Because what SA doesn't have right now is money, and Brazil has money, but Brazil doesn't have the players. So I think that, of course, as a Brazilian, I would love to see Brazilian names in PAIN, right? Because PAIN is the traditional. That's actually the motto of the organization, like the tradition of Brazil and family and stuff. And I would love to see Brazilians actually playing for PAIN. But I understand that from a competitive point of view, investing in a team to play maybe like tier 2 events is not really worth the money for them right now. And there's a lot of opportunity to grab a lot of money. We are talking about what, 6-7 events in the next few months worth $1 million each. So I like the idea, and I'm also very good friends with the boys from Peru Rejects, who are now PAIN, right? Yeah. Also, important context, I am Brazilian, but I live in Peru, so even more.
Okay, so this is a common thread. We just all migrate to Peru from Brazil. Is that what
Yeah.
we're going with?
Yeah. That's the thing. So in my opinion, PAIN Gaming getting back into Dota is one big step into saving SA Dota. But I would like to hear your guys' opinion.
Well, the very good news in all this, big good news. The very good news is that Vintage told us that they signed for 2 years. This is not like let's sign this roster that just qualified to 2 events. We see how it goes and we drop them if it's not working. So this is like,
Which we see as all of the OG Latam, even Alliance Latam, we've had a lot of these like trial periods.
Edge too.
Edge,
Yeah.
yes. There are, every time you have like a big tournament coming up, or TI, or even a $1 million tournament, organizations will come to stacks that qualified and offer them some, crumbles, and they will be happy with it. To me, the biggest, greatest news for all of the in all of this is that PAIN actually signed with them for 2 years, and they are committed to grow something there and to give them something, because as Vintage also said, what SA needs the most is stability. And it's not only about roster stability, it's about, mental stability, if you want, if you make a living from this as a player, and it's not just like I'm playing 6 hours today and whatever I'm doing tomorrow. If you want to make a living of it, you need stability in all sorts of things, and having an organization, a salary, and the peace of mind that you can focus on, doing your job. It's absolutely amazing, and I would like to see. It's great that we have 2 organizations in SA now. We have Heroic and we have PAIN. Fingers crossed we see more. Fingers crossed that this works out. That it will be a good example that once you support a team in all aspects, they have all the means to flourish and go further than just qualifiers. And hopefully by TI we have more than 2 organizations.
But that's exactly what we did see when Valve introduced SA into their own qualifiers and their own regional stuff back in like 2017, and they added them to have their own space. We did see that they started to grow and flourish, and we ended up with even 3 teams and such at TI, 2 of which qualified just through their DPC points, and through the circuit and stuff. They competed with everybody on the global scene, got enough points to go, and then even had their regional qualifiers. So like it works. I mean, it works when you can give an infrastructure and support, and we know that it works. So I think that by them stepping in and doing this, there's no I think we're gonna see, exactly what we've seen before. There'll be like this surge all of a sudden. We have like SA Dota kind of has gone in the past, I think, like where, it's like flat, it surges up, then it starts to drop down, like, PAIN left in 2020 because a lot of the COVID stuff, the the DPC was put on hold, the lands were put on hold. There wasn't a lot for them to be able to able to generate any income and continue to sustain things, right? So then there was like not just them, but like the region in general, it goes back down again, and then it has to come back up. And I think we're about to see a surge in SA Dota again.
I think we've already seen a bit of a start of that, considering, well, within the region at least, considering that Heroic were just dominating the region for such a long time, and then 2025 comes along, and Pain Gaming, Peru Rejects, suddenly just blow them out the water in qualifiers, twice at least. Maybe we don't talk about the last one that much, but I mean, you can see that there's definitely a big step up. You have a young player that's 16 years old. I definitely wasn't that good at 16 years old. I wish.
Okay, but do you think this is going to be like another Samal type of situation we're going to see? Like all of a sudden, first 16 years old playing in your first events and boom, you're going to win TI. Like,
We can hope
you
that.
think we got that storyline?
I think that would be
Can
an
you
amazing
imagine? Can you
storyline.
imagine just this guy coming up from Peru and out of nothing and just winning TI again?
Like the
But I mean,
first South American.
what was it? Samal's TI, how they did those player profile things and stuff is still always one of my favorite. He's like this little tiny kid.
Little baby.
And he's talking about, selling his bike so he could play in the land cafes, and stuff like that. Like, it's a great storyline.
I've actually invited TaiLung a bunch of times to come to my other podcast. And he just say, I can't because I have like homework to do and I have like English classes. And I was like, dude, you're doing the right stuff. Like, just go and do your thing. I don't mind.
You mean he doesn't have a Charlie that will go to talk to his teachers and do
Yeah.
his homework and stuff with him? But he doesn't
Not
have that in
yet,
place.
not yet. After he
Yeah.
wins
Soon.
TI.
Yeah, after TI.
Well, we'll be able to gauge, was it then Charlie that helped Samel get to TI, or was it?
Yeah, so actually this is a big point because okay, we have one thing we also need to talk about is Amaru, right? Because Amaru is from the guys who were behind Beast Coast at the time. And Beast Coast, of course, as we know, is the one team that got, I think, the most success out of SA ever, like in terms of stability and consistency.
Well, they were like the longest team, same roster, I think,
Yeah,
because they went like
precisely.
3 years and stuff like that, and they did go multiple times to TI. But I think their highest ranking, I know Heroic got 5th to 6th
Thunder
at
got
TI.
well,
Sixth?
Thunder and Evio Genius is,
I think it's sixth
if
or
we
sixth.
count.
Yeah.
If I
Thunder got
think
5th to 6th. I think Heroic got 5th to 6th. I think the
That
best
is the
Beast
best.
Coast did was top 8.
Yeah.
and we need to also talk about EG, how they went. I think it was 4th at Berlin. I remember because I was there. So yeah. So I mean there was some teams that actually did good. But
You
then
mean SG, right?
No, he means Evil Geniuses right after they signed the
Oh,
Beast Coast.
right,
Yeah.
right. Oh my God, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. Mhm.
yeah. So
Wow.
yeah, I remember clearly because that was the point where Gladiators were winning everything, and they had
Mhm.
just won Lima. Then they went to Berlin, they won again, and then after that, I think
Okay,
it
but
was
that's the curse. That's the curse. Everybody who's always winning and dominating. Remember when Team Secret was winning and dominating? Then they get to TI and nothing. Like Gladiators was winning and dominating in the season, and then they didn't win TI. Like we don't
yeah
want them to win and
one
dominate everything.
map away from the Grand Slam, 3 majors and the TI. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
We don't want them to dominate everything. Let them build up.
Correct. So we also have some quotes from the interview. I don't know, Dev, if you can go through them. I think it would be nice.
Right. Well, it's I gotta say, I was surprised that Vintage was up to talk so much with us because it was just in the heat of all things, and an extended thank you for taking the time for this. But I think one of the most important things or the most interesting things that he said to us was in regards to Schofield and his role in the team and Parker. I think you can't escape Parker no matter what you do. So Parker being this, everyone knows that he's extremely talented, extremely good carry, but someone with a temper or someone with his own personality, maybe too strong. Uh, so we asked about how do you guys work with Parker, because it's always a subject in all teams. And Vintage told us that Schofield helps a lot with Parker, as he's able to control his overextensions in the game. I think that's very important. He said maybe the others didn't have the confidence to tell Parker this is wrong and just let him do his thing. On the other hand, when Schofield notices that the play isn't really necessary and will hurt the team, he does say that to Parker, and Parker respects him so much that he cancels his play. To me was a bit shocking to hear this. That Parker
control the monster.
Parker actually listens to someone. It's like, okay, I want to see that actually happening on LAN. I want to be at that LAN where Parker plays. He goes with Huskar to dive the fountain, and somehow Schofield has a leash, and he says, "No, my dude, we need to win
Rubik
this."
lifts him back out of the fountain.
Exactly, something like that. I need to see it happening now on stage. We talked about the 2-year contract already. He also told that to us. He also said Pain Gaming are not looking to enter Dota just for 1 year and see what happens. They want to build the same structure they have in CS2. They want something long-standing. And as I said, I kind of feel like this is the most important thing from this deal.
Something I want to see is how Pain Gaming will actually manage their expectations, because we know that League is the most important asset from Pain Gaming, right? The team that they make the most money on is League of Legends, and now they have this Dota team. So it will be interesting to see how the fans manage it, because of course there is this everlasting debate of which game is better, and we will not get into that here, please, because we have
because we know the answer.
spies.
We know the answer already.
We have spies here.
There's no point.
But I mean,
But
it
I
would be
mean, it's not like
interesting.
it's not Pain Gaming's first foray into Dota. So I
Yeah.
mean, they have a history here. They were one of the more cornerstone and OGs of the South American Dota as well and everything. So I don't think that I don't think it's not like someone like, say, Heroic example, who came in from Norway, trying to temper and figure out the cultural things, having people available and on ground to be able to help or to navigate things and stuff like that. I mean, this is their land, this is their territory, not only that, but they've had experience with how Dota as a culture works and what to expect from that. Some of these players, I mean, most of our players that we're seeing, especially in Pain right now, they're veterans. This isn't like they're getting a whole bunch of new players or this 16-year-old, and how do we manage and deal with this? These are people that know what to do, set them on their path and let them do their thing, trust in them on that. And I think that, it's a smart pickup on their end, versus say going with Amaro Gaming or something like that and picking up that squad. It's a smart pickup, but I also don't think it's necessarily like, well, I'm just here to make the money or get out. They have an investment in wanting to see the entire region succeed and develop.
They have also already qualified for 2 big events, right? 2 out of the 3 that they could qualify, they're already qualified. So that's also a big. Well, I don't know how. Like, they have at least $20,000 set, right? Because that's the least amount you can get for the organization. So, I mean, I don't know how much they're paying the players. I imagine a lot, but I mean that at least covers a bit of the initial investment.
Well, a hot take here is that whatever they pay the players, it's less than they pay the CS or the league players. So I think they are good,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You're right, but also, I mean, we have to establish that this the amount they're paying is not low. I mean, they're not lowballing these players.
Of
They're
course.
giving more money than probably anyone in South America could, and even competing with Europe, right?
Mhm.
So that's important to establish.
And there's
But
also they might actually have like a secured, if you want, with all the signs needed, spot at the national what's exactly the name? The national cup that it's part of the
Oh,
esports
yeah,
World
the
Cup.
Esports National Cup,
Yeah.
I think is what it is.
Yes, where to be honest, how many I'm curious how if 10 years later this format will work because it's been tried in Dota before, right? That we had WSG, we had so many other things in the past that didn't
The
work.
ESF. Mhm.
Yes. So national rosters are not a thing in Dota. They have never been, and I don't think they will ever be. No matter how much money you push into it or how much, whatever you try to do. However, this year we're gonna have this first edition, and Pain Gaming they already have a Peruvian roster. So,
Mhm.
and I dare to say that probably it would be the biggest, contender in the tournament, even not qualifiers or anything. I think they have like almost a secure slot in that. And once they are there, they would compete with what Chinese teams. Not all the
It's
Chinese
gonna
teams
be
are Chinese
yeah,
anymore.
exactly. They all
Every
have
Chinese
Yeah,
team has a Filipino or
some
something.
A Korean maybe
Southeast
somewhere.
Asian.
Yeah. I mean, the last team that I can think of that had a full roster like that is Alliance with the Swedes. And
Yeah.
I don't think that they're gonna get back together to compete.
But even, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there will be countries and there will be players
Yeah,
willing
like
to make
usually
a
like the Russian, yeah.
Yeah.
but even the Europeans, the Western Europeans, or the North Americans, they will be willing to make an effort and stay together for a month or two to go to this
Mm.
national cup because it's one
Right.
half million dollars prize pool still. I mean, again, the money are there. Uh, but then you would compete with someone like Pain Gaming, who have been together for a year or half a year or even more, and the synergy is already there, and they know what to do
The
together.
synergy, the infrastructure to be able to support.
Yeah. So
but
speaking about
also
Pain projections making money in Dota.
but wait. So you guys might know more about this than I do, but how does it work? Because from what I remember, they can compete under a team banner. They have to compete under the country banner,
National,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
national.
So they'll just
So
rename, but they'll be
so
sponsored by
paying will just be okay. You guys go play. We don't mind. I don't
Yeah,
think
I mean,
that's how it will work.
it works like this in MLBB. I know that much from that game. That so teams that were literally under an organization would go and compete on the national level under the country because a Philippines team like the entire roster is a Filipino roster, so they compete under Philippines. They just aren't considered the same team, which was then Blacklist International, and they just didn't compete as Blacklist International. So I guess it would be the
But
same
then,
here.
what does Spain gain from this?
well, they could have in their contract sometimes that if they do compete under those kind of conditions, they still get a little bit of a cut, especially if they put them through the boot camp. But even then, if they don't, they get like their team, like everybody still will refer to it as being part of Pain. They can still get some
Yeah,
sponsorships
it's
out of
probably the
it and stuff
sponsorship
like
side.
that.
Yeah.
Like it's still more like exposure, practice, things like that. I mean, you have to remember they're not gonna foot the bill for them to go there. I mean, the organizer does that and stuff, so they don't really lose anything either.
And
But
if
they
you
don't
gain
cost.
anything, you gain, because as
Yeah.
Pandora just said, I win, they win national cup. Okay, all the headlines would be Peru wins this, but the next time we talked with the players, you say, oh, but Pain won that, because they are all Pain.
And it's also, a $1.5 million prize pool. So if they do end up winning.
Do you guys think it would be like just, yeah, you guys go compete, and if we win, then we just like the prestige? I mean, talking about company wise,
Yeah, no,
it's
no, no. I mean, I can tell you from being a manager on teams and stuff, like, as long as it's not conflicting. The big problem, and this is why it always was an issue with Dota, was because as long as it's not conflicting with your other tournament time, like, it doesn't matter what you do on your free time in that sense, right? Now, with Dota, there was always an issue because it felt like it was always conflicting. Things were overlapping, like these kinds of things to put in would overlap. And then it became an issue of, well, I have to practice with my team and scrim with them in order to do this versus I have to scrim with my real team because I need to go to that event. And then that would start creating some conflicts and some tension, or somebody would have to miss because they'd be going to that place and, so on and so forth. So as long as like the timing, and from what I understand, the timing of like this cup,
It's in
the
November.
qualifiers are in June and July. Yeah, it's November. So, I mean, that's way out of TI time zones, all these kinds of things. Like, you know, uh, as long as it doesn't conflict, the organization doesn't typically have a problem with them
And
participating.
then again, when you already have a national roster like Pain have now, your players will not go out of your scrimmage time to practice with
Right,
their national team. They are already
right.
there. Everything they
Yeah.
do, it's a practice for that thing too, you know. So it's again, to me, it's a win-win here.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I think I'm gonna relate it to Premier League football here. Like the Premier League players are, there's a bunch of African players and Northern African players, and during December to January, they have to leave and go and play in the African Cup of Nations, and that's put down in their contracts. That like a lot of them may not have that in their contracts, but they basically are just forced to go and play in the African Cup of Nations. Sure, a lot of them will want to, national pride on the line and stuff like that, but I feel it's the same thing here. I think that the teams will want to have, or at least the players and the Peruvian players might want to go and compete in this Nations Cup.
And hey, it's that whole thing, right? Keep your people happy and they'll perform better,
Yeah,
right? So they'll want to go and be able to do that and get a little extra money and stuff, then let them do it and let them be happy. They'll get better results from them anyway.
But one thing I was thinking is that okay, these guys are clearly very good, but are they the best in the position? Because
In what
that's something like, for example, if we are building a national team, would Frank be the offlaner or would maybe Whisper be the offlaner for
Oh, but
Peru,
that
for
I don't
example?
think you can ever talk
But
about
then
that because
Whisper is
on
Bolivian.
paper, yeah, and on
Oh,
paper,
my bad.
how
Yeah,
many great teams do you see on paper and they just completely fall apart, whether it's play style or
yeah,
personalities or anything else? Like, I mean, I think that's the age-old thing, especially with Dota, that we've seen over the time. We get the roster shuffles on paper. It's like, wow, you can't have any better of a team than this, and they're just absolutely falling apart, or
yeah,
they don't
you're
last long and stuff like.
yeah, I agree. And I also blunder here. I forgot that Whisper is not Peruvian, so
Well,
forget about that one.
So he
we
can be an
don't know.
honorary one, just like
Honor.
you.
We don't know exactly how. I mean, the details haven't been laid out. We
Yeah,
we just assume that by national rosters they mean like really 5 players from the same country. But in the past, when these formats were tried, it was 3 out of 5 at least from the same country, 4 out of
Yeah.
5. Uh, we'll see. It's not been officially announced how national these rosters are, but let's assume that's 5 players from the same country.
Okay, so let's just seal the deal with the SA thing here. Let's just talk very briefly about heroic because we are way past time. And uh,
We
what do you
told you.
guys?
We warned you.
Yeah, I know, I know. But what do you guys think about heroic's current position? Because they were, as Jared said just some minutes ago, they were for the longest time like the owners of SA. Basically, they won everything. They qualified to every event, and now they have competition. I think for a few months now, actually, because by the end of last year, they were also struggling a bit. They lost a few slots to Amaru, and now like they are actually competing right now, and they have already lost twice today to Falcons and Gamer Legion. It's okay, Falcons, you can lose to Falcons, because they are, of course,
Is
I
that
think,
Falcons?
yeah.
yeah, they're probably the best team right now. But again, Gamer Legion is a team I think they should be able to win against. And I don't know. I think that Amar, no,
It's
Heroic.
interesting. It's interesting that you mentioned Gamer Legion because who is the coach of Gamer Legion right now?
Mangusu, precisely.
Mangusu. So if someone knows how to beat heroic,
It's him.
then
Yeah.
this person knows, the best.
Heroic just kind of went through a little bit of their roster shuffle shake up and stuff too. I mean, that always takes time to adjust and kind of smooth some things out. And there was some of that going on. And I'm sure like some of that shake up from the roster thing has left hmm, I am sure that there is some, maybe at least bad feelings internally. Nobody's going to be super happy about
Yeah,
some of these
that's
things that are going on. And that just shakes you up in general, like your mindset is a little bit different going into things, thinking about it. Like now we have to shuffle. It was like all these kinds of things. Like
that's something I want to
Dota is
actually.
a mental game. How many times? Like
Yeah,
it's a mental game. The map is secondary.
precisely. But that's something I actually wanted to mention is that, of course, these are mostly rumors because there's no way to verify these. But in streams and within like gossip here in Peru, at least, there was a lot of this.
Is it on national TV yet, though?
No, not on national
Okay.
TV. But
All right.
oh, I wanted to talk. I wanted to gossip so much, but it's not not the moment. Yeah, I will put on screen right now. Last week or last weekend, I was actually invited to a football match with all the Dota pros and all the Dota people, and it went as well as you can expect. There was fist fights. There was people messing with each other, and yeah, it was good.
What was that? Linda, what's that show's name? Linda,
Uh,
Mary, what was her
no,
name?
what is, oh my God, I forgot. Uh,
Angela? No.
Andrea.
Andrea,
Andrea.
yeah. Oh,
There
she
you
would
go.
remember.
So are we just
Yeah.
like going through like Mambo number 5 here?
I wasn't sure about what you're talking, like what we are doing here, listing names.
Yeah. Well, there is a lot of, if, listen, dear listener, if you're into gossip, go and look for the stuff that happened at Pichanga Dotera, and you'll be gladly surprised because there was, I think it was 4 fist fights. So you can think of how that went.
Okay, back to
Anyway,
heroic. How is this fist
yes,
fights and heroic? Let's
Well,
because
because, we do know that there have been fights and
yeah. So one of the things that came out during the last few days is that Whisper is very annoyed with the current, not the current roster, but the current like state of things because he did not agree with the kicking of Schofield. He did not agree with how the team got built after it, and that, I mean, Whisper going to mid, then coming back to offlane, and now his best friend of years and years and years being kicked from the team is I mean, it's not shocking in the definition of the word, but it is a shock for the player, right? Because you've
right.
been playing with this guy for so long and now it's gone.
I mean, I can't tell you how many times I know of where people have been truly blindsided by some of the roster changes that are going on, whether it's, someone kicked or they themselves kicked. I mean, we don't have to review the whole like owie and TI and all these kinds of things. I mean, it happens on every level in all the teams and stuff. So when you see these kinds of shakeups that happen where players are, being poached or jumping ship from one to another and stuff, you know that the teams that were left, not the ones that were newly created, because everybody's happy to go there and be happy together, but the ones that are left kind of in the dust and everything else, like those are the ones that like it's going to take some time for them to just get past this block that they just had for what they just went through or whatever was left behind for them to have to clean up that mess mentally and move past it and move on. Like, there's always that kind of you know kind of readjusting, I guess. And sometimes it's harder than others because it's, like I said, you're blindsided. It's in the, I've seen people leave like the day before they're supposed to be qualifying for TI and things like that. Like, I mean, we've seen it so many times in the big, on the big stage, even on tier 1 level, but on all of it, it keeps happening and stuff like that. So I think Heroic has a lot they have to kind of recalibrate in a sense, you know, mentally and get some things pulled together. They have to also retool their strategy. They have to kind of look at readjust to roles, all these kinds of things that are going on. So I think that we need to give them a little bit of leeway and leverage, and yet they still kind of did come out ahead of Pain Gaming in at least one of those qualifiers. So there's
Yeah.
still something there.
It's I don't like to speculate or talk around rumors, or make my own ideas around rumors. They are good. I mean, it gives you, there's no smoke without fire. So clearly something is going there. But at the same time, I refuse to believe that someone at Heroic, no matter who, woke up one day and said, and today Scofield is gone because I want so. I mean, something happened there. There is
Right.
more behind this kick. It can't be just out of the blue.
Unless Schofield said, "Hey, I don't want to be here," and he had been planning it, and then he just kind of up and disappeared while he was working things out in the background, which I'm not saying happened. I'm just saying like that
It's
would be
possible.
the only way
Yeah.
that would make sense to me. That you know,
Uh,
but like Div said, like there were signs.
Yeah, also there's this interesting idea that Scofield has been flirting with the idea of retiring for a
mhm,
long time now.
mhm.
And even though he did post that text a few days ago or a few weeks ago at this point in his Instagram stories uh about like keeping on playing and stuff, uh he has, I mean, last time he was here for a long time, he played a few events from home, and he was like having fun streaming and being like just a part of the content circle, let's say. And even Vintage said on the interview he might play like 6 out of 10 events just to be able to stay at home more. And that's something important to take into account. Like, how long is Scofield's professional career still
Gonna go.
going at this
Yeah.
point? Yeah.
I mean, maybe they don't qualify for anything else this year after the first two tournaments, and he decides that, yeah, that's it, like throw the towel time. Um, but I don't know, maybe they end up winning one of these tournaments, and then he decides maybe there's a chance at TI or something, and yeah, you never know.
My honest opinion is that he's gonna try TI again, and then after that he would just reconsider everything.
Yeah, I don't know. You have
Uh,
a couple of players in your region, or in Brazil actually there are some, and in SA that keep, they are like just the Chinese players. They will say, I'm done, I'm retired, this was my last TI, and it's next week it's an open qualifier for God knows what, and you see them there. I mean, I specifically remember King RD from 2 years ago, I think it was at TI. We had like a super emotional interview where I was crying, he was crying, oh my god, this is my last year, I'm retiring, I can't do this anymore, I can't. And then he would go, and I practice task and they beat me with it, and he went, he pumped himself up, and next week he was competing again. I was like, dude, make up your mind. It's hard. I mean, it's
yeah,
hard. Anyone who played Dota at some point in their life, uh, they know that you can't really uninstall and move to your next chapter in life. It's not working like that with Dota.
it's a curse. It's a curse.
It can
Yeah.
be. Yep.
Once you've been exposed to it, you can never go out. Right. So enough about SA and SA struggles. I think we've talked enough about it. Holy shit, 40 minutes. So, oh, my script. Uh, so yeah. Anyway, just as a fun fact, TaiLung did reach Europe's top 28 playing from Peru with 180 ping. So God knows what he can do playing with actual structure.
I used to play it.
That's
Like now you know.
Gerard,
something.
where is your professional team? No, but to end this, I don't want to take sides or anything. But if there was a time for a team like Heroic to make like a big change and gamble on a 60-year-old, this is the time, because then you get too close to TI.
Yeah,
you want
you're
those months to get him prepared and get him to some events and get him ready for TI.
Yeah.
Okay, so enough about players. We still have a lot of a lot of stuff to talk about the coaching world. The coaching world has been a little bit chaotic for the last few days. So let's talk about the 3 big moves.
If we're starting with the Spirit here, then yeah, Silent leaving the team I think is a pretty big thing, especially since they don't technically have a coach confirmed. They have a coach that's rumored, but there's no real confirmation.
Isn't he their general manager though?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
he is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So
so we're not
how much coaching is he?
exactly, and you know, there's also the same thing with Spirit that they've lost Lal for a couple of weeks, personal reasons, taking a bit of a break. Probably
Hey, but you know
good
what?
time.
Look at this. They're still placing second. I mean, is that just like
I
Well,
remind you that
they have-
Miposhka is also on a break.
yeah, exactly. That's the thing though. Like, I think Spirit have a very solid team, whether they have no coach or are missing a player or two. I think
like
they've proved that's-
autopilot?
Yeah, maybe. Okay, sure, they came second in FISSURE just recently, well, the last few days. But
the other day.
I don't know if that says a lot about second is still, yeah, like you just said, second is still second. It's not, they didn't get knocked out in the first round.
I believe Team Secret. Wow. Team Spirit is one of the.
We'll get to
that. Team Spirit is a team that they are a team that can really afford to take extended breaks to say Silent says, hey, I want 3 months away, I want 4 months away from this, and they will say, yeah, take your time and come ready for TI. We seen it last year with Yatoro taking breaks, and there
Well,
was
it's not
some
like any of them need the money.
collapse, and they don't need the money, and they are so
They
good.
won the biggest TI.
They build something so strong there that I think no matter what, if they are playing with 2 of the original roster or 3, they still gonna get top 3, the top 4 constant.
Top 2, like I said, they just second place again.
Worst case scenario, they still get top 4 in these big LAN events, and they secure their TI invite, because at the end of the day, it's about that, right?
Right.
So I don't think Silent, because the way it was phrased and everything in their announcement, I don't think Silent is gone and he will join BetBoom team or something else before TI. I think he's
did
just on a
hear-
break.
I heard rumblings that he is just on a break
Yeah.
and he will return. Like I did hear a bit of that, but you know.
Also, the manager did say that I think Scorbin is his
Mhm.
name, right?
Yeah,
I'm sorry
it
if I'm
is.
butchering
No, it's fine.
pronunciation, but he did say on stream that Silent would return.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He did not specify any like specific bracket of time, but he did say that he would return. So
Same as I'm
that's interesting to
convinced.
understand.
Yeah, same as I'm convinced that Miposhka will return before
Yeah,
TI.
exactly. Yeah.
I mean,
I
maybe we
wanna-
already forgot, some of us, or people that maybe somehow just got into Dota last week. They don't know, but this is not Spirit. You'll see a TI. The old Spirit will be back.
And it never is, right? Like don't they always just kind of meander their way around
Mhm.
until it matters?
I
Yeah.
remember reading this, and I'm citing this straight from eScore News,
Mhm.
that Corbin did say on stream, and I cite, my opinion, Miposhka won't return as a player. I don't claim to have the facts. I read his interview, and he talks to Diraccio about how bad it is to be a professional player. To make a comeback after a year of inactivity, there must be an incredibly strong desire to play, and that usually isn't the case, especially when you're no longer 20. So that's Corbin's opinion. And that's interesting to take into account. He's the manager of the team, right? So
Well, he's
I
the
don't know.
one that grew them from
Yeah,
Yellow
from the
Submarine to
beginning.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will still stand by what I said. I think Miposhka was a very, very important piece in that roster for both of their TI wins. And last year, I was almost certain that Collapse will not return, in time. And I'm ready to now be certain that Miposhka will return in time.
Right. And after that, after Spirit, we have Puppey, who finally got officialized as PARIVISION's coach. That's something I actually thought would happen a lot sooner, to be honest.
I am him being a coach or him
him being a coach. Yes.
I think a part of that was, though, his ties to Team Secret and
Oh, but he
without
played in a lot of roster just out of for the fun of
the
it, you know.
stats
So
and stuff, sure, but, I mean, I think if you're talking about becoming a coach, like, as a career shift or something, that takes a lot.
He kind of was the one that had held out for so long.
Mhm.
Kuro has been doing it for a while now. Puppey probably should have, considering Secret's, let's say, rough times over the last few seasons, and not being able to really keep themselves held above any, top position. I'm trying to think. There have
Here's
been.
here's the thing I think, though, because Puppy always liked to have the control, right? Like, over the team rosters and over their drafts and their strategies and all of these things, and he was a phenomenal captain in this way, and he always, this is not a secret, haha, that he liked to take people that he felt he could kind of mold or work or, make them into something more what the direction he wanted to go is, as opposed to stronger personalities, even if they were the better player and everything, because he wanted his vision and his direction and the things that he thought and stuff. So I think that for Puppy to become a coach, it really meant that he would have to have kind of that control over a team that's going to do that. So him going to Paravision is the thing that like blows my mind because you have no one on that team. I mean, literally no one, not like nobody, but like you have no one on that team who I think is very strong, very opinionated. I mean, he's just as old, in 30 something years old, right? He was on Virtus Pro when they were at their peak and everybody thought they were going to win TI and everything else, like he is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks kind of, personification and everything. And now you're going to have Puppy who is going to go into this team and like the dynamics there must be absolutely incredible. And I'm shocked by it that, he agreed, um, that they both agreed and that they're going to do this and everything else. Like, I'm really curious to see how this is going to pan out and how things are going to play. I think this is either like, this is going to either like make or break them. Like, I think they can actually go straight to the top, or I think they'll absolutely just explode and implode and fall apart because I think this is an incredible dynamic. But I think that they're incredible minds. So, and we said again, Dota is a mind game, right? So I think like there's some incredible minds there, but
And incredible personalities.
yeah,
for me, PARIVISION has two big like question marks right now. For me, one is okay, Puppy got in and the first thing he did was officially kick DM. Okay. That's something to talk about. And second, there is just this big question mark around Ossini. We were up until like a few months ago, we were like, I think it was a consensus that Ossini was a very good coach. And now he's just doing nothing. So, what do you guys think about that specifically?
that he's doing nothing because I thought I heard him say that he wanted to just make sure he picked the right place and the right offer and things like that, which I think could be legit. I think that when you get used to a certain level in your coaching, it's really hard to. I think coaching is a tough position to be in. I wouldn't want to be a coach.
So, the first thing is Stini not being on a tier one team, which I think, well, I thought would be a given, thinking of his career as a coach. And the second is just this new guy, SSS, I think was his name, getting
He's a
in
baby too.
yeah, he's really young
I
too.
mean, young in his career too, like only a year, if even that, and one
Yeah, because
team.
he played for with one
One,
win for
yeah.
like the entirety of last year.
everything at PARIVISION, it's been a bit weird, but then again, we, as I said, with Heroic, I think it's the case with PARIVISION as well. If DM's hero pool doesn't work right now, or he is not willing to, or not willing, it's a bit too much. He's not, what the meta is right now, and he's not improving fast enough or keeping up fast enough with that. It makes sense to bring someone. And if you want new blood and everything, this is the time. Again, maybe last month was even better. But when I wrote, when I read the announcement from PARIVISION, it just said, we are confident his hero pool will add variety to our game, Triple S. And Triple S is someone who, on the first week since Largo was added to Captain's mode, he played only Largo, and he's the offlaner with 100% win rate on that, on offlane Largo. And I was like reading, and I was like, we are confident in that his Largo hero pool will bring variety.
But this is exactly what we were just saying about Puppey and being a coach, is that he typically liked to have these players that were malleable and stuff. And here comes this 1 year, playing 19-year-old into the team now versus the veteran DM. So it kind of fits in that sense.
Yeah, it's I think you just said it perfectly. It either gonna go superb for them, and they will be in the perfect shape, and they will be contenders of TI, or they will implode way before TI. In the next few months, you'll see a disband.
I think the last important point for us to touch here is BetBoom, which had some weird stuff going on with their coach, and I'm out of the loop here, so I would just let you guys talk for this one.
Oh, the bedroom thing is literally just the swap between boolk and RMN
RMN, yeah.
constantly happening through last year. Um, yeah, that was a weird one to see happening, I think.
Do you think the
Um,
coaching pool is just so small?
Like the offlane pool. We don't have offlaners, we don't have coaches. It's complicated because with RMN, actually, BetBoom won a tournament. Maybe it was just the honeymoon period or something, or maybe it was just like in Spirit's case, their initial coach wanted a break, and now he's ready, he's coming back. But either way, it's strange. It's just put it like that because BetBoom, it's when they formed like a few years ago already. Everyone said this is the best team on paper, and we talked about just at the beginning of the podcast what means to have a dream team, and that the dream teams never work, and they reached a couple of grand finals. They lost those. The community has its way to say words about them. I don't know what to make of this coach swap other than probably boolk wanted a break. Now he's back. What happens with RMN though? Because he was with Nigma, he's not anymore. He just like Astini is watching all this
yeah.
happening.
And I mean, I can't say that. Okay, so like Bedlam kind of did do well in qualifiers while RMN was there,
Mhm.
and then he left, and instantly they went into FISSURE and were knocked out fifth, sixth. So uh, I'm not sure what that says about the things that went on there, but I don't know. It is really just a strange situation. Maybe boolk did just want a break, like you said. Uh, yeah, I guess we'll find out about things like that later on in the year.
At the end of the day, it can also be a language barrier and a cultural thing because BetBoom team is mostly, I mean, fully Russian with save from Moldova,
Same.
but I think it's quite hard to work with rosters like that when you are not. And it's also Austin's case, right? He did great with PARIVISION, and he forced this mentality of speaking English everyone so they can be less toxic, so they can communicate, more efficiently because and it went well until it didn't. And I think it's the same. It's the same case with BetBoom. Let's bring RMN in. Let's be more organized. Let's change things up. Okay, we don't like it. Bring our coach back.
Not that it's the same thing, and not to go back to South America and stuff, but I mean, isn't it a little bit similar to Dalai Lama? Like the rotation around and back and
Yeah,
forth, like
the
sometimes.
poor dude. I mean,
The difference is that Dalai Lama also speaks some Spanish, so at least understands,
Yeah.
and he is able to respond in some basic language, but
to be
vocabulary.
completely honest, I just feel bad for the Vailama. Because imagine he got kicked from the team because they were okay, we are gonna do this different thing now. Okay, let's do it. Then they bring him back. He plays, I think, for 3 tournaments with them or 2 tournaments with them, and then yeah, just go away
Yeah,
again. We're fine
we were
without you.
right. We
Yeah,
never mind. But I mean, I think this is a thing that we actually do see often in Dota is the revolving door with rosters, right? Like these players play together, then they go their separate ways, then they play together again, then they bring them back, then they go, then like we see a lot of these kind of combo, shuffles and stuff. Like it's just kind of like this little pool that everybody circles around sometimes.
Yeah. Attempting to find the synergy with the right players working together, but I guess with the meta in Dota kind of changing, I wouldn't say constantly changing, but I guess that meta, you need to figure out if that player is
You
perfect for this meta.
forgot we had these really long patches and nothing.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly.
Guess we're gonna wait now to see how long until DM is back on PARIVISION.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because he's actually just benched and inactive, it seems. So maybe he does come back as well.
Next month, Valve will take Largo out of the captain's mode because they put a 2 broken facet, and PARIVISION will say, okay, we need DM back.
so let's talk just very briefly about Aurora. What do you guys think happened? Because they failed to qualify to DreamLeague and then they won FISSURE. So there's this clear dichotomy of are they good or are they bad or what's
Well,
actually
isn't
going
that
on?
what we just said though? Like, do we count FISSURE? Like, we just put FISSURE down when we said Team Spirit got second place at it. We're like, well, it was FISSURE. So, I mean, is that the
Well, but,
tone
I
we're
mean,
going with, or?
let me see.
No, it can be a wake-up call, because when you're Aurora, when you have the kind of players they have Mira, TI winner, they have Nightfall, they have, and then you don't qualify for a tournament to a tier 2 team in your region, or it's the wake-up call. It's when you get motivated to show them, and it's exactly what they do, because at FISSURE they beat BetBoom Team Spirit twice, and there was another Virtus Pro, I think. No, Team Yandex, right, which is also from the region.
Right.
They just cut through all these 3 regional foes. They just show that they are actually the best in the region.
I think for Aurora, we're really going to see, because they're in this Division 2 of DreamLeague that starts also this week and stuff. And I mean, it's nothing to shake a stick at. That Division 2 is actually pretty full of some, talented rosters and players and stuff. But I think that this is going to be like a good place for us to get a better grasp on exactly how they're going to. Are they rising? Was it a fluke? Is it just completely inconsistent and stuff? Because this will be an area I think that they'll be able to kind of pull themselves out of and pull themselves up. Because if there's, like you're saying, like almost like that motivation by the embarrassment effect, right? Like this is what's going to give them the kick in the pants and everything else. Like I think this Division 2 is going to be a thing that will also do that then.
Yeah, and talking about consistency, I just remember something that I have actually forgot to include in the script. But what the fuck is going on with Liquid? We had this discussion in Discord actually, but I mean, when Liquid got announced, I thought that they would be like the #1 team in the world. Like on paper, they have some of the best players, and then, and then like they're failing to qualify to events and not winning against teams they should.
I think you can
Do you guys think?
I think you can underestimate, people underestimated Insania as,
By a lot.
captain and
Yeah, by a
everything.
mile. Yep.
And also the synergy that Insania and Mickey had together to be able to
Yeah.
work off each other and that. And I think there's that him leaving really left a hole that Tofu hasn't been able to step in and fill the same way. Plus, there's some adjustments, in roles with that as well. And I just think that like the synergy that Tofu and Ace bring to the rest of the three is not going to equate to what Insania had with any of them.
You gotta think that Insania and Mike weren't a duo just liquid time. They came from
Yeah.
Alliance. Before the
It came
Alliance, they
from
had
Han.
Hon together.
Mhm.
Exactly. So this is like an entire career basically for
Yep.
Insania and Mike. 10 years there of playing the same lane.
Yep.
Yeah.
You split them up. It will take time for both Mike and for Tofu, because Tofu and Ace were also a duo
Mhm.
for a very long time from what was before Gaming Gladiators. It slips my mind right now.
The Hellbase? No.
No.
Whatever they played before the Viking,
Yeah.
Hellbears, Viking, and
Hellbase,
then
yeah, it was
Gaming,
Hellbase matches, yeah.
and then Gaming Gladiators. This is like 5 years playing together the same lane. And for Tofu, it's a big change to change the lane, to change the role, take a bit of Insania's attribution, be the captain. This will take such a long time for them to adjust.
Well, and when you're the
Yeah,
captain, you're shot calling, you're paying attention to everybody else, you're watching what's going on. He's got a role change to begin with. He's not in his
Mhm.
comfort role, and then he has to also be, figuring out what other people kind of should be doing and things like that. It is a big adjustment, but I do think that Insania's leaving is what kind of was the catalyst for seeing them kind of struggle the way that they are. In fact, when Insania left, I was shocked that Mickey didn't, to be honest. Like,
Yeah.
I was completely floored that Mickey didn't.
I'm also shocked that Insania retired before Boxy for some reason.
It's another big one, yeah. I feel like there are sparks of things that are happening in Liquid. It's just not completely clicking yet. You see like things happening in games where there's definitely the idea and it's just not executed. It's honestly the same thing I see in XG sometimes, where there's sparks of something. You can see the thought is there and it's just not happening for them. Whether it's a bad pick somewhere in the draft or it's just someone completely out of position.
That's why I
that
think
Right.
this is exactly what I was saying, like right in the beginning of the podcast. Like, I don't think what we're going to see at TI is anything that we're seeing now in terms of, like whether it's just like which teams are there or how they're performing when they get there. Not specifically at TI, but like on that road when it gets much closer to the qualifiers and to that time. Like, I think we're just kind of in this field right now where everything is a mess and nothing is going to be what we see later.
Anyway, so let's go to my favorite segment of this show, which is buy or sell. Let's go for the statements. As we know, buy or sell is really simple. I am going to read the statement and you guys just buy or sell the statement and then give your reasoning behind
Do
it.
I have to bid on it and compete with them, like hold up my stick and be like an auction?
Hopefully in the future we can have the sticks, but for right now, not yet. Okay, so the first statement is Spain Gaming makes top 8 at TI.
So I think it's from my side at least. South American teams are on the up. TI is a whole different story, and I'm kind of just going on that last qualifier with the 15-minute game. I feel like something's just gonna crumble there very soon.
I'm going to buy.
In reasoning behind it?
No, I just am an impulse shopper, so this just fits with that. No,
I see.
I mean, SA has actually done pretty decent at TIs overall since they started. Heroic last year got what, like top 6, 5th, 6th or so. Before that, okay, maybe not before that. We'll skip before that, but we have seen SA rise up for TIs, and I think if Pain can give them the infrastructure that they need, there is some significant potential for them to be able to show up and do at least top 8. So I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna put my faith in that. I'm buying.
Dev?
Gonna sell. I'm gonna sell maybe next year. I'm gonna sell just because top 8 means main event. And I can't see it for them. I think somewhere in between, road to TI and group stage, because they are very weirdly worded and split, they will drop. I'm gonna sell now.
Okay. I would love to buy it, but at this point, I will remain silent because my role
Wait,
here
is that
is
an
to read.
option? No. Oh.
I am the reader. I don't need. I am the seller. I don't need to buy or sell things.
I'd
I'm
like
good.
to buy this one, but not now.
Yeah.
Okay, so second statement is TaiLung will be Heroic's answer. They will make top 6 at a big event this year.
I'm selling
I mean,
it
I can
because he doesn't have a Charlie.
yet. I mean, I'll buy this one. Purely on the young player. I'm going on the Sumail bid here. Young player comes in, wins TI. I mean, let's not say wins TI. Maybe that's a bit far fetched. But
But
yeah,
I mean, who they would have said the same thing about
I
Samal
also
and EG at that time.
yeah. We're not talking TI here, right? Are we just talking like a big tournament? I can see Heroic taking top 6 at a one of the tournaments, maybe not last. But yeah.
No, I'm buying that for the exact same reason. We are not talking TI or the Esports World Cup, where the stakes are, I mean, this is what they are trained for the entire year. But top 6 at one big event, meaning a $1 million tournament, yes.
Third statement is Puppey will be a better coach than he was a captain.
How do you qualify that? I mean, Puppey's got such a prolific history and
Yeah.
career. Like, how in the world are you?
Do you guys think that his career as a coach will be more achievement heavy than his
I don't
career as
think
a
it's
captain?
possible. I mean, you're talking about a guy that has spanned since the beginning and he's in
And
coaching,
Dota
and how
1.
long will he stay in coaching? Maybe this is. You have to strike this one. That's terrible.
Uh, he
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 played
won
as well.
1 TI or 2
Yeah, one,
TIs.
one.
Yeah, one
One.
TI.
So let's rephrase it. He will win 2 TIs as a coach.
Sell. Hard
I'm
sell.
selling that.
Well,
Oh,
don't not can't see that happening.
Okay. Yeah, that's good enough. I will shut up at that. Uh Okay, so fourth statement is Aurora's FISSURE win was a fluke. They won't replicate it at a tier 1 event.
I'm buying this one. I'm buying this one. Aurora is just because they are the through not only just last couple of months, but the previous season as well. They had the roster, they had the players, but they are constantly inconsistent, in everything they do, from shuffles, from performance, from I don't know what's happening there. What something might be behind the scenes or behind the players you see playing, competing. But no, I very hard to believe that they will.
so wait,
Yeah,
we're
gotta agree with
saying
that one.
it is a fluke, so we're buying that, right? I'm
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
buying that.
buying.
Yeah.
I gotta agree with that. I felt like Fluke was a bit harsh, but honestly, yeah, it is suddenly out of the blue they win this tournament with no other real challenges. Okay, sure, team spirit, but yeah, I don't see it going
But we
on.
even just said too, team spirit like meanders around. Like, we don't see their true form until it matters too.
Yeah,
So for them to beat them this early in the game is exactly on point for team spirit as well.
Okay, good enough. So one thing that we did not talk about in the show, but I think that we can reasonably talk about this very briefly here, but is that PGL merging regions will hurt Dota's growth in SEA and SA, or in NA, or in China, if that's the case.
Do you think they'll stick with it and keep it going?
I think so, because that's what they have been showing throughout last year and in the start of this year. So I don't think they will go back in that decision. And I think it's just my own
Horrible.
opinion, and I will give my opinion here. In my own personal opinion, it's just bad for the Dota very fragile ecosystem.
Absolutely agree. It's a
Yeah,
terrible move.
I'll buy this one as well. I definitely feel more so in Southeast Asia. Um, I feel that South America is generally stronger than North America since, well, for a while. We haven't had evil geniuses like Cloud9 and stuff around for a while. South America should technically be stronger than North America still. Gamer Legion is kind of the only team in North America. But for Southeast Asia, it's definitely just as bad. Especially considering the teams now forming again in China that have a very big chance of just dominating the Southeast Asian teams. So Vici Gaming coming back, Game Master, which is a lot of players that used to be in top teams in China. So yeah, I'll buy that one.
I mean, it would be like, I mean, China Dota is it's a cornerstone. Like, how are you merging them with another
Yeah,
region, period? Like, they are their own entity in a sense, both in terms of their own servers and their own kind of infrastructures and everything else that go on there. But they're a beast, when they start going, they're a beast. Like, they might be unstable, they might have like their shuffles and their retirements and things like that, but Chinese Dota is always there. And to stick anybody with them is a disservice to the poor team, the poor region, or whoever gets stuck with them and everything. Southeast Asia always struggles, but I think that this is just, like we said, Valve proved by adding things in and giving people a chance and giving them the pathways and everything else, they can thrive. And we saw that with South America when we expanded. And just taking that away from Southeast Asia is like putting a nail in a coffin, especially if you're going to have them match up with China.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion is just bad. It's a bad decision from PGL, and
Bad
I
PGL.
like generally agree a lot with the decisions they take, like in terms of organizing events and stuff. But this one for me just doesn't make any sense and will hurt more than it will help. Okay, so the
Yep.
last statement is where is it? Okay. Team Spirit without Silent will still win a major this season.
Very high potential. Yeah.
Buy. Yeah, I think we spoke about this before.
Buying that one.
In
Yeah.
in
They're still
a
very
lot,
good.
but yeah,
Yeah.
they're still a good team.
Well, I mean, I think this is pretty much a consensus. I think they're still. It's just like Team Spirit in CS for me. Like,
Yeah.
they have the donk factor,
The donk.
and they can just wing anything.
Well,
Okay.
they have the Yatoro and the collapse factors right now.
Yeah,
so-
Precisely.
Yeah.
Precisely. Yeah. Okay, so that covers most of the storylines we had for this this week. So let's just go through looking ahead.
Looking ahead, I'm very, very curious. I mean, as we mentioned, we have a bunch of tournaments coming up, but I'm very curious where Falcon stands in all this, because they are the TI winners, and you expect them to do well right away from after TI, if not right away, at least a month or two after. And it's been a while since they, showed their true colors. So I'm just curious where they stand actually. What's happening there?
Is it the TI
how-
curse, after
Is it
TI?
the TI? Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of downward trajectory for a while.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of last year, they second, and third, fourth places is good, but yeah, you would expect coming off TI. They then went and won towards a FISSURE Playground, and then instantly lost in a grand final to Tundra after that, and then were eliminated by someone, Yandex, in Blast Slam 5. So yeah, there could definitely be a curse there for them. And then if we're looking at Blast Slam 6, which is now on,
Now, yeah.
sure, they're doing okay now, but they lost their first game to Gamer Legion.
But Game of Legion seemed to come out of nowhere and kind of win
Yeah.
almost everything anyway. So that's pretty
Well,
unexpected.
yeah, they are about to lose, but yeah, they are doing pretty
There you
well.
But also you have ATF on his Telegram like, "Oh, we're gonna lose everything. We're gonna go
Yeah, don't
0-11."
expect anything.
Yeah,
Don't
exactly. Like apparently they went 0-11 in scrims. What the hell? Who would have expected that? But it could just be that, new patch, well, sort of new patch, them trying a few things that didn't work out, and now that
New
they
patch, new me.
gone to
New patch, and I think Largo is not a hero for ATF, to be honest.
yeah. But they are the hero pool is quite big for
Yeah, it's immense.
good
It's
heroes
immense.
right now. So yeah.
But it's also this whole blast thing, it's the best of one, and I swear best of ones are like you can't guess anything,
Yeah.
Teams function entirely different when it's a one-off.
I mean, who
So,
would have guessed that the tournament would start with an IO mid from
Yeah.
another 16-year-old Niku from
Niku, yeah.
Navi?
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, for this Blast, I mean, Blast used to have like Falcon's Tundra 3 or 4 times in the grand finals until the previous seasons when there were Yandex and winning that. And despite, or, it can get boring or, daunting to see the same two teams in the grand finals. At this Blast, I really want to see where Falcons are.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter. They're just gonna hand the trophy to Tundra anyway at the end. Like, isn't that in the contract or something?
Probably.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
By now.
Well, the biggest thing I want to see is, of course, my dear region and my dear team
Pain.
just doing something. I don't
Do
think they will win anything. Yeah, it's the stick. Like, just do something. I don't think they're gonna win, but I think they might get like top 8 and top 6, and if they do, then there's a big like, wait, we can't actually do this kinds of thing, and that's like a big boost for their own confidence and for what's coming. Because I don't know if I'm right on this, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the most important event coming up is Birmingham, right? And that will be the second event they will be playing.
Mhm.
So they have DreamLeague to kind of test things out. Let's see how this works. Let's see how this doesn't, and then come up to Birmingham and actually do a good job.
They also have,
And
they didn't qualify for everything. They didn't qualify for Blast, right? I'm not crazy.
they didn't qualify for Blast. They did
They
qualify
qualify.
for both
Yeah, they
DreamLeague
didn't.
and
They
Birmingham.
didn't
Yeah, they
qualify
didn't
for PGL.
for BGL either.
Right.
This can be a blessing in disguise because you sit on the side and you see what others do. You can research them live if you want. You see how they act, what they play. While those that are playing now Blast and PGL have no clue what Pain Gaming are preparing in Brazil or wherever they stay in boot camp. So again, it can be actually a blessing for them, and they might come and make a huge surprise at Birmingham at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're also going. So we're recording this on the 3rd of February, 2026, and they're going to Serbia on the 7th. So
Mhm.
in just a few days, and that's pretty good. Like, they actually have the structure to go a few days prior, and like get jet lag out of the way, and all the good things that comes with structure. So I just want them to do very, very good. I'm hopeful. I'm not addicted to gambling. I'm addicted to hope.
Okay.
No, it's I think it's a good team to put hopes on right now.
That's better than me having hopes in XG here. So, Yeah.
You're still waiting for a
Okay.
TI win, right?
Yep, I'm still waiting. Still hoping.
So just to recap, we talked for 40 minutes about SA and not 15 minutes as I had previously planned. But okay. We talked about Pen Gaming, we talked about Heroic, we talked about a bunch of teams just changing the coaching staff. We talked about Aurora, and we talked in the end a little bit about how bad PGL's decision to merge regions is. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
That's pretty much it, right?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, just feel free to say one last thing before I close this episode up, and that's kind of it.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
No,
No, I was going to say, I think now is, the fun part. Now we're done with qualifier month, and finally we're going to start really getting, everybody's going to get their feet really wet to start gearing up towards, TI is back in August now. We've jumped back to that. So we're kind of inching closer than we thought we would be inching by this point in the year. So I think we're starting to ramp up to where some of the competitive stuff is going to really have its teeth, and I'm waiting to see how that all pans out.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I think this coming 3 months, 2 months, February and March, really, will probably be extremely, extremely important in regards to TI, and I'm super curious to see what all these shuffles and all these post TI breaks and everything did to the teams.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting few months of tournaments. Going to be fun.
Right. So, dear listener, go and take a look at our webpage. There's a bunch of interesting content there. There's this whole interview with Vintage where he goes in depth about a lot of the things we spoke about in the first segment of this episode. Also, follow our socials. Feel free to follow our personal socials that will be on screen. If not, then just go and follow ready.gg. And yeah, next week, there is Blast, there is Division 2 DreamLeague, so there's a lot of interesting stuff coming up. So
And you
that's
can
what's
always
kind of
find out what's coming up with our Get Ready and to see what to plan to watch and what's happened that you might have missed with already.
Precisely. Not at all forced plug here, but I agree with it. So
it wasn't forced.
So I love it.
It was perfect. It was smooth.
It was perfect. Okay, so thank you so much for listening. Stay ready, stay informed. That's your win condition.